More than any other region on Earth, there's one place that holds this unique, kind of centralized power over our entire global system. And yeah, it's a land of ancient history, for sure. But its modern influence, we feel that every single day, in every corner of the world. So today, we're going to explore the mechanics of that power, how it actually works. So let's just start with a single, powerful question. Really think about this. What if one region held a kill switch for the entire global economy? A switch that, if somebody flipped it, could send massive shockwaves through our supply chains, cripple whole industries, and totally change the cost of living for billions of people. Well, here's the thing. This isn't some hypothetical. It's the reality of the Middle East. Okay, so what is this power? It's not just about politics or resources, though, believe me, those are huge factors. But at its core, at the very heart of it, the Middle East's influence is rooted in something way more permanent. It's physical geography. It's a classic case of where geography is destiny. Okay, picture the planet's entire trade network like a giant circulatory system, right? The oceans are the major arteries, and our economic lifeblood, we're talking oil, gas, all the stuff we buy, it's all flowing through them. But, and this is a big but, this system has a critical vulnerability. It comes down to a handful of super narrow waterways, what we call choke points. And guess what? The most vital of them all are packed into this one region. All right, so let's zoom in on these critical arteries. We're going to take a look at two of the absolute most vital choke points on the entire planet. These are the spots that really power our modern world, and they're the very mechanism of that global kill switch we were talking about. First up, the Suez Canal. Get this, a staggering 12% of all global trade. Everything, from the phone in your pocket to the food on your table, passes through this one man-made waterway in Egypt. It's the absolute shortest, most direct maritime link between Asia and Europe, period. So why is this shortcut so critical? Well, think about the alternative. You'd have to sail all the way around Africa's Cape of Good Hope, and that adds thousands of kilometers and about 10 extra days to the trip. We're talking a massive increase in fuel costs, time, and yeah, security risks. So the canal, it isn't just a convenience, it is an absolute economic necessity. Okay, so if the Suez Canal is a critical artery for trade, then the Strait of Hormuz, well, that's the jugular vein for the world's energy supply. A mind-boggling 30% of all seaborne oil squeezes through this narrow strait between Iran and Oman. Just let that sink in for a second. The energy that fuels your car, heats your home, and powers our industries, so much of it depends on this one tiny passage. And hey, it's not just crude oil. We're also talking about liquefied natural gas, LNG, and a ton of other refined petroleum products. So any disruption here, it doesn't just affect a couple of countries. No, it immediately constricts the entire global energy supply. And trust me, everyone feels that pain. So if these waterways are this important, the natural next question is pretty obvious, right? Who controls them? And that brings us to the so-called guardians of the choke points, the major regional and global powers that are constantly wrestling for influence and control. Right at the center of this whole power struggle, you've basically got three key players. First, the United States. They kind of act as a global guarantor, and their main interest is just keeping that energy flowing freely. That mission is backed up by the immense power of their Fifth Fleet, based right there in Bahrain. Now, pushing back against that, you have Iran. They're seeking regional dominance, and they use their naval forces and missile capabilities to exert pressure. And then, of course, there's Saudi Arabia. Their entire economy depends on these routes, so they use their own navy to protect their vital interests. There's this quote. People say it was Sir Walter Raleigh. That's centuries old. But wow, it has never been more relevant than it is right here, right now. It just perfectly captures the timeless strategic logic at play. See, control of these sea lanes isn't just about trade, it's about global power itself. But here's the thing, if we only look at economics and military hardware, we're really missing half the story. The region isn't just some strategic map with ships on it. No, it's a crucible of faith and power, a place where really ancient tensions are playing out in our very modern world. The conflicts here are layered over millennia of history. From the dawn of civilization, it became a holy land for billions of people. Then you have centuries of imperial rule that gave way to these modern borders, drawn up after World War I, which created all new fault lines. Every single layer adds another source of identity, of alliance, and of conflict. And then The discovery of oil basically poured gasoline on an already burning fire. And this is what experts mean when they call the Middle East a geopolitical tinderbox. It's this unique, incredibly volatile combination. You've got these deep-seated religious and ethnic tensions sitting right on top of the world's most critical economic interests. It creates a situation where one tiny spark can ignite a massive fire, a fire with truly global consequences. Okay, so let's connect the dots. How exactly does a crisis in one region suddenly become everyone's problem? This is the global ripple effect, and it shows exactly why nobody can afford to ignore what happens here. The chain reaction is swift, and it's brutal. It starts with some local conflict that threatens a choke point like Hormuz. Right away, boom, the flow of energy halts. Global markets, which absolutely hate uncertainty, they react instantly. And the final step? The prices for fuel, for goods, they surge for everyone. Doesn't matter if you live in Tokyo, London, or Los Angeles.
And just how dramatic are we talking? Well, even a minor disruption could send oil prices jumping. But a full-on closure of one of these choke points, we could easily see prices double, maybe more. And that could potentially trigger a global recession. That is the raw economic power this geography holds.
So, at the end of the day, here's the key takeaway. The stability of the Middle East is not just some regional issue. It is completely inextricably linked to the stability of the entire global economy. Through these choke points, through these energy flows, no nation on Earth is immune to the shockwaves that start here. And all of this leaves us with one final, really critical question for the future. As the world changes, as we see these shifts in global power with new players on the scene, and as new energy technologies start to emerge, the nature of this kill switch, it might evolve. But the big question remains, who is going to hold that switch tomorrow?